All rise! Welcome to the fourth session of the Supreme Court of Be Creative. Today's trial, State v. Lane Hill. The Honorable Judge Knope will be presiding today.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the case of the State versus Lane Hill. Are both sides ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Is there any pre-trial motions?
Yes. Permission to make appearances.
Permission granted.
I am Miley Cyrus. This is
Backpack.
and this is
Charlie.
and we would like to collectively swear in our witnesses.
Okay.
Okay. Witnesses, please raise your right hands at this time. Do you swear... There you go. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth in today's case? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Thank you. Witnesses, you may be seated.
Thank you, counsel. Defense?
Permission to make appearances.
Yeah, permission granted.
I am Allison Clay. My co-counsel is
Owen.
and Melissa. And we'd like to swear in the jury.
Okay.
Jury members, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to judge today's case based on the facts that have been presented in today's case and in alignment with the rules of the Supreme Court of Be Creative? If so, please say I do.
I do.
Thank you. Jury members, you may be seated.
Thank you, counsel. You may be seated. Okay. Lane Hill, how do you plead in the charges against you?
Not guilty.
Okay. Prosecution, you may proceed with your opening statements.
Welcome everyone today to this session of the Be Creative Supreme Court. Today's burden is that Lane killed another person with the intent to cause their death and had malice, hatred, ill will, or hostility towards his victim present at the time of their death. In this case, the prosecution hopes to prove the defendant guilty of killing Zoe Kane because he was angry at her for ruining his livelihood.
Thank you, counsel. Defense, would you like to proceed with opening statements?
Yes, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today we are here to prove to you that Mr. Lane Hill did not commit this act of murder that has been so accused of him today. Over the course of this trial, we will hear words from Lane himself, discussing his humble upbringings on a farm and how he is here only to follow his dreams and his passions in the art of cooking, as well as Davis, who has irrefutable evidence that the murderer simply cannot be Mr. Layton Davis here. It does not add up. And then we will end with CJ, a jailhouse informant, who has had personal experience with Mr. Lou Carboni and is here to discuss his personal interactions and feelings towards Mr. Carboni.
Okay, thank you, defense. Prosecution, would you like to call your first witness?
Yes. We would like to call Lou Carboni to the stand. So, what is your?
My name is Lou Carboni.
Okay. Please start. You said in your affidavit that you have never worked with a mob.
Yes, I know nothing about the mob. Everything I know, I've seen in movies.
So you wouldn't know how they kill people.
Of course, I have no idea how the mob does their killing.
Also, if you did kill Zoe, would you have gotten your money?
Of course not. I'd have no reason to kill Zoe. She was making good on her debt. She had paid me she had made paid up for like $300,000 worth of her debt prior to the amount of debt she had at the time of her murder. Killing her would most likely sink my business.
On the night when you saw her, what did you see? The night when you last saw her.
Well, when I last saw her, I believe it was on the night of the 24th. When I saw I believe it was Lane that came out with Zoe. Zoe's just smoking a cigarette, and then it sounded like they got into some sort of heated argument. And then I saw Lane pull out what was a 10-inch long kitchen knife and force Zoe back into the restaurant.
So you saw her be taken in at night point. Did you ever see her come out?
She never left. Lane came out alone.
Mm-hmm. So you never saw her.
Correct.
You never saw her come out. So in the report it says that her murder was on the 27th, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Is there any evidence that you were at the scene of her murder?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay. We would now like to enter Exhibit 6.
What is exhibit 6?
This exhibit is a police report that says there is no evidence that Carboni was at the scene. Oh, page. That's also 6.
There's 2 pages specifically.
This is the same page as the other one.
No, it's not. This is 304 and 404.
Okay. Any objections? Okay, you can enter this one.
You can tell them what page to look for.
Thank you very much.
Page 3.
Just look at page 3.
Page 3? All right.
No further questions.
Defense, do you want to cross? Yes, Your Honor.
So, according to your affidavit, you were charged with second-degree assault by strangling somebody, right?
I do believe. What did you just say that was in?
Your affidavit.
I said what year? What year did you say that was?
I never said this.
Can you repeat what you said?
So, according to your affidavit, you were charged with second-degree assault by strangling somebody, right?
Strangling someone? Strangling someone. That one is still pending.
Objection relevance.
Well, I would like to pull up Exhibit 11 for an autopsy report. Do we have one that's not written? Okay, well, you're just gonna have to ignore. This did say undetermined, but okay. But, as you can see, right here, it mentioned that they found bruises and forced choking.
Okay. You have a rebuttal? Prosecution?
Make sure you stand.
This crime happened before she was murdered.
But it says the time of her murder was undetermined.
Yes. As far as I can remember, it does say that time for her was confirmed.
If I may, Your Honor, if I may say something.
Go ahead.
I did read the police report for a little bit. You know, it wasn't a police report. It was a. Yes, I spoke with the police officer. I forget what his name was. It was the day that the murder happened on was May 27th, 2018. This one was all the way in September.
Okay.
That makes no sense.
Objection, hearsay.
Okay, hold on, let's finish the first objection first.
Is there any other arguments for this objection?
Yes, it does imply that you were very aggressive towards her.
Aggressive.
That you might have been very aggressive towards her. According to the charges that you were charged with by somebody else. That this might have been you who placed these bruises on her.
Well, yeah, I mean, Zoe didn't need a reminder. Zane,
Stand down. You're not allowed to argue with the attorney during an objection battle.
Okay, objection overruled.
Now we can attend to the hearsay objection.
So,
Counsel,
So you said that
please.
so you said that that you spoke with the police officer and they said that like that's clear hearsay.
Are there any arguments?
Counsel, plaintiff counsel, prosecution counsel. They made a hearsay objection to the statements of the witness that he spoke with the police officer.
The counter's not
Not-
The person is not in the court.
So you want me to do?
Any response, anything?
Yes.
Objective.
You're responding to their objection.
Yes,
Why is
that
their
works.
objection wrong? You can confer if you'd like with your counsel.
Okay. Okay. Because he was trying to protect himself from the police report. Right? Right? I'm deaf in this ear. I'm deaf in this
Okay.
ear.
Hit the gavel.
Objection overruled.
Okay, I can continue now, right?
Continue.
No more objections, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
you can continue.
awesome. So, why did you agree to this case?
I agree in this case because the cops have been trying to pin stuff on me for ages now. I don't exactly know why. The cops and I never really had a close relationship. I mean, I guess they somehow found out that Zoe and I had a deal, and I guess they knew that she wasn't holding up her end of the bargain, and so that they assumed that, I guess they automatically assumed that I was the one who killed him because that's what people of the mob usually do when someone doesn't make up on their bet. They kill them in a rather brutal way. But as I said before, I am not affiliated with them with them at all.
But I believe you'd said that you don't know how to kill people.
Exactly, I don't know how they kill people.
So let me ask you this. You mentioned how you watch mob movies, correct?
Yes, I've seen a few.
So how do you not know that how they kill people if mob movies are about them killing people?
well, they never showed any of the killings on screen. It was just implied. The movies were all PG-13.
I don't think I've ever seen any modern movies that are PG-13, just saying.
I've never heard of in reality. We joke about this later, okay?
No, that's basically it. No further questions? No further questions.
Okay, witness, you may be seated.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Does the prosecution have the next witness?
Yes, Your Honor, I'd like to call Joe Walker to the stand. What is your name?
My name is Joe Walker.
What is your occupation?
I am a certified public accountant in private practice in Winston, South Carolina.
So Exhibit 1 shows that you are certified in occupation, right?
Yes, correct.
Fine.
You want to enter this the evidence?
Yes, enter it in through evidence.
Okay. Any arguments? Okay, you can enter it into the evidence.
You're welcome. When did the defendant contact you to help him?
February 26, 2018.
Okay, and how long have the defendant and Zoe's business have been running?
For 3 years.
And how many businesses fail within 3 years?
Only 14%, which is a pretty unusual amount for their business specifically, because
Okay.
their business had been very popular and it hadn't even been reported in the state newspaper. So I didn't understand why their business was failing.
Okay. And when did you start working with the business to see their financial records?
On March 6th at the restaurant.
March 6th at the restaurant. And who handled the financial side of the business?
Zoe came.
All right, and did you ever find Zoe suspicious?
There were a few instances that I had found suspicious. She had one instance where she spilled coffee on the records. That happened one time, and the first I thought it was an accident, and then it happened the second time, and I started getting suspicious of her.
Okay.
She had also come in with burn marks and strangle marks on her neck sometimes.
Did you ever hear her talking to someone on the phone?
Yes, there was another instance where she was talking and she stated, "I promise you I will get the money. Please give me time. There is no need to use threats. You will get your money. Yes, I remember what happened last time when the payment was not timely. Please don't. That won't be necessary. I will pay you, I promise."
Okay, and after you were finished with audits, did you ever believe that she was the one who stole the money?
Yes, I firmly believe that Zoe was the one that's stealing the money. There was wait staff had a copy order of their ticket book, which is where they would write down all the orders that were made.
Okay.
And the cash register, which Zoe ran, did not line up with them, which means that someone had tampered with the cash register. And there's also evidence of that on Exhibit 2.
All right, I would like to add Exhibit 2 and Exhibit 3 to evidence, please.
Is it to the back of
I believe so. It's all three on the back.
Okay. So any arguments?
Yes, Your Honor. Oh, wait, no, never mind.
To the exhibits.
This can be admitted into evidence.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So when did you tell our defendant about the money being stolen by Zoe?
On March 16th, 2018.
How much money did she steal exactly?
She stole around, hold on, I lost my picture. She stole a total of $273,958.
And how much, and what did our defendant say when he found out about the money being stolen?
Lane said, well, I make,
She said, well, the witness said, Lane said, so it was clear as hearsay.
Okay, you're released.
I didn't say the defendant's name, I said the word defendant, so I didn't say an actual name. It does not apply to the defendant, because I didn't say his name. That is my final. That's the rule of hearsay.
A rebuttal?
She was about to say something that someone here who can't testify would say, so.
no, I was saying what Lane said.
Objection overruled.
I like to say, leading the attorney.
So you can proceed on what I said.
So after I told Lane about what Zoe was doing, he said, well, I'll make Zoe pay for this. She won't make a fool out of me. You have done your job. You can leave. I will confront Zoe alone.
Okay. And was there a buy-sell agreement that states that at the death of a partner, the other would receive $500,000?
Yes, while I was looking through company records, I had come across a buy-sell agreement for the restaurant, and it was between Zoe and Lane, and it was, if one of the partner dies, the other one gets $500,000. I also did not mention that I had also, after I left the restaurant, I had come back in because I left something on my desk in the office area, and had heard Lane threaten to kill Zoe, and had also told her that you'll get your just desserts. So.
Okay, which, Your Honor, do you mind if I elaborate what just desserts mean, so that everybody's aware?
Go for it.
So just desserts is kind of like you get what you deserve. It's another word for that, it's supposed to be more of a kind way of saying it, I should say. So, there you go. And do you believe that our defendant killed Zoe?
I do believe that Lane killed Zoe.
All right, no further questions, Your Honor.
Defense, would you like to cross?
Yes, Your Honor. You were hired by Mr. Hill to investigate the financial status of their restaurant, correct?
That's correct.
All right. At the time when you first began, did it seem like there was any trust issues or any cases of malpractice occurring between the two?
I have not seen anything suspicious. No.
Did Lane seem to have troubles with the financial side of things, or do you think he was pretty well on top of that?
Lane did not participate in the financial side. He usually worked in the kitchen area, and Zoe handled all the financial evidence. Or, not evidence, but files.
So you personally think that he could have had almost no knowledge as to what could have caused this financial downside?
Yes.
All right. Have you had a chance to talk with Lane personally?
Yes, he was the one who hired me, so
I
I did.
just wanted to double check. And so you had mentioned earlier that you had overheard a conversation between Zoe and Mr. Hill, correct?
Yes, I had.
And you claim you heard him say, "You will get your just desserts."
Yes, I did.
Are you also aware that they had planned to create a new restaurant next to the movie theater entitled Just Desserts?
No. Why would that not be in the affidavit then?
It is in the affidavit.
It is.
It is in Mr. Lane's affidavit, where he talks about the new restaurants they plan to go into.
Then how does that sentence make sense? You'll get your just desserts. What would that mean then?
Is it possible you could have misheard some of the context in the
No, because at first I could not hear, I stated that I could not hear clearly, that I heard him say that he threatened to kill Zoe, and there was a bunch of wrestling, so I could not hear exactly what he said, but then I clearly heard him say, you'll get your just desserts.
But it is possible it is true you had some hearing issue when it comes in terms of this conversation.
Not when that happened.
All right? No further, Your Honor.
Okay. Witness, you may step down. Prosecution, would you like to call your third witness?
Yes, I would like to call D. Hayden to the stand. Your name is D. Hayden, correct?
That is correct.
How long have you been in a police investigation? A police investigator?
I've been in the law enforcement for 20 years, and I have been involved in every type of criminal investigation on a local, state, and federal level. And for 6 years, I served as a member of the South Carolina Attorney General's Task Force on Organized Crime, working in an undercover capacity.
Have you received any recognition or awards?
Yes, I have received numerous awards for my work, including the Police Medal of Valor, Meritorious Service Medal, and this SC Law Enforcement Officers Association Officer of the Year Award in 2008.
Where was the victim discovered?
She was discovered in the freezer of the kitchen. She was discovered in the kitchen's walk-in cooler, which had a padlock around it.
Was there any damage to any other area of the restaurant?
No, strangely enough, it was like there was an intent to push her into the freezer, but there was no any other skirmishes or bouts or fights in any of the restaurants because it was very clean.
The defendant did admit about. Wait, crap. That's not messed up. Sorry. The defendant told you about stealing the money, correct?
He told me without.
Oh, right. He told what?
He told.
Okay, he told Zoe.
Zoe.
Okay, and Zoe told him about stealing the money, correct?
He did, Your Honor. He mentioned to me, the defendant mentioned to me that Zoe told him that she had mentioned that she had been stealing money from the restaurant.
What else did he tell you?
And he told me that it would be ruining, and that if she stole money, then that it would ruin the restaurant, which would then ruin him both professionally and personally.
Was the murder premeditated?
It was. We could tell by the fact that the the padlock on the cooler was bought a month beforehand. Have we done the evidence for that one yet?
Can we enter Apple's number?
Check the cheat sheet, it's at the top. I'm not sure.
Other sheet.
Exhibit 8.
Okay, so maybe enter exhibit 8.
Let me see it.
Check the back to where it's double sided.
Are there any arguments? Okay, you can admit this evidence.
You did talk to the forensic accountant.
I did. He told me that they had stolen, or that Zoe had stolen
as a professional chef?
Well, I was born on a rural farm in South Carolina, a dairy farm. I had an honest upbringing. I learned to appreciate a hard, honest day's work and to appreciate my
Objective
friends.
relevance.
It's objection.
Objection, same thing.
Please stand.
Objection
Argument.
relevance.
Before.
It's nothing to do.
Has nothing to do with the murder.
Okay, defense, you have an argument? Yeah, go for it.
One of the cases brought against Mr. Lane Hill here is having malicious intent and action towards the victim. And I feel like showing his true colors and how he's been raised, inflicting his personality, would affect his intents.
Being raised on a farm with dairy cows has nothing to do with Zoe Kane in this case right now.
Being raised on a farm does increase your value, as he said, for an honest hardworking, which then again goes to affect your personality, which again is being remembered and noted in this trial.
So I mean, a lot of murderers live on farms, right? Yeah.
I don't think that necessarily influences
Okay.
murder.
Objection is overruled.
As I was saying, well, how I got my start as a chef, I went to school,
We'll move on then. Alright. What is your relationship with Zoe?
I had met Miss Zoe at a seminar from which she was one of the speakers there. It was basically about starting your own restaurant, and I thought that we had a lot in common, and we became friends pretty fast and decided that with her skills in finance and my skills in my cooking, we could make a pretty good team.
Alright. And as it was mentioned earlier, what do you know exactly of Zoe's gambling habits?
I was made aware of it a little bit after I had been aware of it a little bit, in that I had seen her. We went on a cruise ship together in which I saw that she had blown a lot of money, but I was told not to worry about it because that was her family's money, but we would later find that that was not true. However, I was always worried about her and the company she kept up with.
So no matter what, you've always had a trusting relationship with Zoe.
I always trusted her. I mean, I'm not that great with finances, and I know in this world money is very important, and I know that I trusted her to take care of that for me.
Okay. Where did you first meet Joe?
When I heard, Zoe had told me that we were in the red, and I saw that there was a seminar that Miss Joe was doing about the accounting with business, and I decided to go. And it was there that I decided, as previously mentioned, the day after to buy that padlock because of what they called employees walking off with food. And I thought it would be a good investment.
Do you know the contents of these menu notes?
Yes, this is a menu note by my friend Zoe. She would write these notes. She would usually stay after to take a little bit of inventory, and she had her own bit of creative side, so she would come up with different menu options sometimes, and my sous chef and I would come up with the recipes for every week, and she would make these notes when she was staying late and neither one of us were there, and this was the note that I found that she had left that night when she died.
The defense would like to admit Exhibit 9.
Prosecution, any arguments?
No.
Okay, you can admit this evidence.
That's no further questions.
Prosecution, you have a cross?
Yes, I do. Please say your name.
My name is Lane Hill.
Alright, so Zoe took care of all the financial aspects of the business. Why was that?
I'm not great at money. You can't really teach an old dog new tricks, as my mama likes to say. And I'm the one that's in charge of all the cooking, and it's a 50-50 deal.
So you said earlier that you always wanted to start your own business, correct?
I always want to set my own restaurant.
So don't you think you took a little advantage over her wealth?
Over her wealth.
It was her money.
She was the one. We both pitched in 50-50. I took out $40,000 of my own savings over the 9 years before I opened up my restaurant, and I took a loan of over $60,000. We pitched in $100,000 equally, sir.
About John Caldwell, which is the sous chef, even though he's not present in the case today, did he ever witness you maybe being a little passive aggressive towards Zoe?
I'm not sure, sir.
Okay. And in your affidavit, you state that the buy-sell agreement was in place in the event of one of us who dies, paying the cut of $500,000 or $500,000 to the surviving partner. But you also said, now I'm thankful that she had the buy-sell agreement in place. What did you mean by that? You're grateful.
I was thankful because, well, I wasn't really aware of what it was at first. She said that it would be a good idea, a good investment, and I believed her, and I hope that even though I am very sad at her passing, I still want both of our dreams to continue on for our restaurant to live.
Okay, and did you ever get mad that the money was stolen by Zoe?
Of course I got mad, but I was also extremely concerned for her well-being. I mean, she showed me her bruises, she showed me that she had cigarette burns from that Mr. Lou sketchy man. And that's the type of things that come out of movies. I mean, I was completely in a different world when I found out that she was involved with loan sharks and all of that.
Okay. Don't you agree that you had a motive and the means to kill our victim? She did steal the money even though the restaurant was indeed bankrupt, correct?
She was my friend. You do not do that to friends. I don't care about what type of issues they had. I had offered her to pay back the loans to Mr. Liu. I had taken out loans myself to help her pay. And as our deal that we made was that I would help pay if she got help for her gambling addictions.
But didn't Joe Walker hear you say you would get your just desserts, meaning that you will get whatever you deserve?
No, that is not the implication of that word. I was meaning we had this glorious plan for this amazing sweets restaurant to open up, and I was making sure that we were partners in this and we were going to get that restaurant. We were going to stick together, sir.
So was the restaurant close to bankruptcy?
It was close to bankruptcy, sir, but we were gonna make it.
And like I said earlier to Joe Walker, I asked saying, how many restaurants go bankrupt and within a 3-year period as long as your restaurant's been open? 14%. Now hear me out. Usually it's very weird for restaurants, especially in your profile, it's all the ways on the paper, it's on the news, it's all everywhere because it's such a big restaurant. That's already in bankrupt and it's not looking good. I wonder why that's the case.
I'm sorry, sir, can you repeat the question? I didn't hear the question in there.
The question is why is that the case? Why is your restaurant such a big high profile but it's already bankrupt in less than 4 years?
Because we had extremely good food, but I'm afraid that my dear friend's addictions got ahead of her. But we were gonna figure something out.
And are you aware of the padlock that was bought 1 month exactly before her death?
And it was also bought the day after I went to Miss Joe's seminar, and that was the reason. It was actually in one of her presentations that she gave.
Any further questions, Your Honor?
Defense, would you like to call your second witness?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to call. I'm bad at this. Davis Young to stand. So, could you state your name and profession first, please?
My name is Davis Young, and I am a criminal justice professor.
Is it common today to find people in freezers?
Dead in freezers?
Yes, dead in freezers. I yes, dead.
Yes, but it usually happens with mob. It has to do with mob.
Who would you usually? Oh, yes. Oh, you kind of already answered that. Is this an act of raw rage? Would you consider this an act of raw rage?
I wouldn't consider it rage. You would have to have put thought and effort into this and taken time to construct this kind of a murder.
Would the average person do this?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Do you know who investigated this case?
Detective Hayden.
Is there anything you know about Detective Hayden's past?
He has tampered with evidence in other cases, including blue carbon. Each makes me very suspicious of him, and in my mind it's
Objected. Objection. Okay, I don't even know how to pronounce this. I'm just gonna say irrelevance.
Okay, what's your argument?
He was, Mr. D. Hayden was not charged with anything with tampering with evidence, so there is no physical proof, or it's all hearsay when it comes to his trial.
Okay. So is the defense have an argument?
Response, counsel?
It could have involved, or it
Excuse me, witness, can you hold on for 1 second? Counsel? Counsel, you have to respond to the objection. Can you restate the grounds?
He was never charged with anything with tampering with evidence. So there's no proof that he's ever done anything like that. So how would he be able? So you told me the person up here on the stand said he did when he probably didn't because there was no charge that he ever did.
Counsel, for the clarity for Your Honor and the jury, could you clarify here? It seems like you're talking about 3 different objections. I want you to choose one. Is your objection to relevance, to lack of personal knowledge, or hearsay?
Relevance.
Relevance, okay.
No, wait.
You still have to respond.
Okay. So,
You can confer if you want. You can speak to each other. You're allowed to help each other. Counsel,
the relevance in this is, according to her affidavit, she claimed that it had evidence having to do with Lou Cabone, meaning that they were in time, even before this case.
A rebuttal? Any other arguments?
We already ruled.
I'm
I'm sorry. So it was already stated that he couldn't get any hold of the evidence. And then, I'm terrible at this.
You're doing great, dude.
Objections, abstain.
Is that good?
You should overrule it just for that.
So, the jury will strike that the last question. And
Any testimony about the police officer tampering with evidence will be stricken from the record jury, so that is false information that you've been fed, so you're to disregard that, okay?
Do you have anything else on how the mob would usually kill somebody? Or how somebody would kill somebody out of rage?
Mobs would usually, like I said earlier, they would put more thought and they would have it be very violent. They would leave their mark. Specific mobs may copy other mobs, and it's usually takes time. If someone were to murder someone with rage, it would be in the moment. They would pick up something close to them and do it right then and there, and then try to clean up the evidence. But mobs usually try to leave behind their evidence and make it known that this person was murdered, don't mess with us, or we may murder someone else.
So, do you think that if our client had a knife, he would kill her right then? If he was mad at her?
If he was mad enough, yes, he would have, but there were no stab wounds on him.
Do you believe that he would put her in a freezer or have the knowledge to do so?
No, I do not think he would do that.
No further questions?
Prosecution, do you have a cross?
Yes, I would like to. Your name is Davis Young, correct?
Yep.
You're being paid by the defense to testify today, correct?
Yes, but it has been lowered, and I'm not here for that.
This may lead to you to be biased for the defense, correct?
I am not biased, but that is true.
Give me a second, I'm kind of lost my place. You didn't get your normal rate for this case today, did you?
No, I got less. $2,000 less.
In your affidavit, it says that you normally charge $5,000, but you lowered your price because you went to school with one of the attorneys for the defense. Is that correct?
I do not know.
So you're doing this case for a favor. Wait, I said that wrong, sorry. No, I said that right. Never mind. So you're doing this case for a favor, aren't you?
No, I'm not doing this as a favor. I am doing this because I believe that Lily deserves justice. I need to find the person who did this, or the mob who did this.
And you really want the jury to believe that you are not biased for the defense?
Yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, witness, you may receive it. Defense, you can call your next witness.
Defense would like to call in CJ Morgan. Can you state your name for the record, please?
CJ, my name is CJ Morgan.
Okay. Did you have any relations with the victim?
Yes, I indeed did. Yes, maybe I met Zoe in a bar where she was where she was distraught about her
Objective, lack of knowledge, or whatever. It says here in the case description or whatever that they did not have any connection at all.
What?
I think I read this. There was no connection between them two.
No?
That's according to the witnesses affidavit, they hadn't met.
I had
Yeah, they had met.
But not in the way that,
That's what he's talking about.
the gambling cruises in the bar. That's what it says. I just charted the bar.
Objection.
Yeah. They met the guy who was in the bar where she was distraught about some of her losses. Distraught about some of her losses in the gambling. And actually there was one time where she had said that I know where she had said where she was distraught because
Take your time, witness. Find your place. You're okay.
Jury. Order in my courtroom. Jury, you have to stay awake.
Are you good?
He's dying.
Prosecution, did you poison this man?
No. I'm sorry.
No. You must have some real dirt on your guys' face if you're getting him out.
Oh, sure.
No, he just started coughing right
Not
away.
Saying
He was a smoker, so
They
he
would ask
just
for
got
a
smoking
well.
shops.
As well, I don't, prosecutor, I don't believe there was any cause for poison. It seems like you're just faking.
Order.
I believe it's his smoking shop.
Okay, order in the court, thank you.
Okay, so I had met Zoe at South Berries, and she looked around, and when she saw me, she recognized me, and she looked around like she was worried or concerned about something. So she had said that and when I asked her how her business was, she said that business is good, but she's not good enough to keep up with her little problem, and I assumed she made the money she made her bookie. But actually she told me that she was out of options and thought her Bonnie was going to kill her for the money. So, which makes you believe.
Okay. Have you ever met with Lil Carboni?
Yes, actually. I was in a cell and he was a cellmate, and while I was with him, he had claimed that he had actually killed Louis Lucar, no, not Lucar. He actually claimed he had killed Zoe, and that he even wore gloves to prevent fingerprints from being found.
Okay. Nothing further.
Objection, hearsay?
Too late. She just answered her question.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
That's not fair.
Prosecution, would you like to cross?
Yes.
Okay.
So, in your affidavit, you said that Carboni said that Zoe was on Till, and then you later agreed with him. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. So, if she was on tilt, as you say, why would you have been cheering her on at the Texas Hold'em table?
You're okay.
Okay, can you say your question again?
If Zoe was on tilt, like you agree with Carboni in saying, why would you have cheered her on at the Texas Hold'em table?
Because I can't, I don't.
It's okay.
It's okay, you don't know. Or you don't recall.
I don't exactly recall.
Okay. You also say later in your affidavit that, well, actually very close to the saying that you were cheering her on. You say that when Hill came back, he started yelling at you to stop because she had already lost enough. When you told him to back off, you say he threw his drink in your face. Did this not bring up any thoughts that he might be a more violent person to you?
Possibly a little, but not very much at all.
Okay, further questions?
Okay, witness, you can take a seat. Defense, do you have any other witnesses to call?
Yeah.
Okay, with no further witnesses, the defense rests its case. We will now proceed to closing arguments. Prosecution, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, in this trial we have proven, the defendant to be guilty of murder. He has motive for killing Zoe Kane because she was stealing money and he wanted his half of the buy-sell agreement, which is $500,000. And he has the means by holding a knife to her and telling her to get in the walk-in freezer and then locking it with a padlock that he bought a month before to put it on the freezer when he killed her. Only the defendant's fingerprints were found on the scene, and he is the only one who could have killed her. Nothing further.
Okay. Thank you, counsel. Defense, do you have a closing argument?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Alrighty.
All rise!
We'll go quick, camera. Very please come and be seated. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Don't be seated. Just stand. Just stand. Thank you very much. Four-person, you're going to step to the front towards me. Actually, stand over here. That way the camera can see.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
Yes, we have, Your Honor.
Okay. For the charge of murder, how has the jury ruled?
In the above entitled actions, we find the defendant.
Don't do that.
Do that. Don't do that. Come on. Don't do that. Just say it, dude.
Order.
Guilty.